Welcome back, everybody, to the Houston Texans Madden 21 franchise rebuild. Hope everybody's doing well as we have another offseason in store today. I really thought we could win that last episode and make it interesting down the stretch to maybe make it to the postseason, but I'm still happy going 8-8 after how this last season started for us, which I thought was going to be solid after week 1, but then things kind of got out of control for a while before we decided to win 5 out of our last 6 games, putting up a lot of points in the process. But still, there are a lot of issues with this team, and this offseason gives us a chance to fix, hopefully, some of the most glaring issues. I think that the first thing we have to think about today is how to fix this defense. We ranked 32nd this year. We are dead last. We had the worst rush defense in the NFL. That's going to be something we try to fix. And we also allowed the 3rd most points, but we were 1 behind first place, so we might as well have allowed the most points. We were 30th in sacks. We got some interceptions. How are we first in interceptions and almost last in sacks? Usually those have some correlation, I'd like to think. We weren't just last in stopping the run, we were also last in starting the run. We had 1,121 rush yards. I think that it's important to upgrade our RB2 spot, but also hopefully Bradham just continues to get better. Sometimes you find kind of that turning point with running backs in Madden, and for us in past series, sometimes it's in the mid to high 80s before those players start to have those big simmed games. So we'll have to see what Madden 21 is like, but Jeremiah Bradham has been pretty good, I'd say. But I expected a bit more out of him this last year, so we'll have to see how year 3 goes. It's going to be a very big one. Teams need to find a balance between starting young players so they can actually develop as players and veterans that will allow you some stability and hopefully a chance to win some games. So I feel like we've gone very heavy on the starting young players side of things with 2 young interior linemen. We played 2 young receivers for much of the year with Mims and ETN. Cooks missed some time. And then we're very young at running back as well. So I'm hoping that the couple of years that we've been developing these players means that next season we can take a leap forward. Because I'm not looking to actively upgrade over, like, obviously Randy Wallace. I'm not going to try to upgrade over him. But I don't want to upgrade over Andrew McCoy. We've been trying to develop him, and that's still a process, of course. I guess if you have a chance to take like an 85 overall veteran, you take it. But like an 80 overall veteran versus developing somebody younger, that's where you gotta consider what you want to risk playing younger players or losing on development playing older players. So this is going to be, I think, a tricky offseason. We still have some contracts that could become an issue for us, and of course we have Deshaun Watson making very big quarterback money, so we don't get that rookie contract relief. This is going to be the biggest cap number on his current contract. So why don't we get underway now with the offseason? We have a lot of players looking for new contracts. Bradley Roby wants one, and I thought he stepped up in a big way this year. I look at him as the leader of this defense now. We had that scenario with him trying to have the team-only meeting. He was making a lot of plays. He got the superstar dev boost after a 6-interception season. He is a leader on this team. I'd like to sign him to a multi-year contract if possible, and I only get one shot at this, of course. So I will go 2 years, $14 million. And that is exactly the offer he was looking for. That's an easy decision. Zach Ertz, the veteran, not interested in a 3-year contract with him. Garyon Conley, we could look to bring him back and not worry about corner a whole lot. 1-year deal does not work out. I did increase the signing bonus by about $250,000, but that wasn't enough. Romeo Okwara. Overall, this signing didn't have the impact I was looking for. 6.5 sacks in 2 years. He was an okay player. Had some games where I thought he played pretty well, but he's kind of a pressure over sacks pass rusher. And now he's 28, so I think it's time to probably move on. We'll let a lot of these players go, though. Quincy Etienne, that's a tougher decision because he's entering year 3 and already wants like $4 million a season. We'll probably come back to him in open free agency. Kendrick Bourne. This is one where I really want to keep him around. I wonder if in open free agency we could get a better deal. There is some concern about what regression will do in years 2 and 3 of that contract. I'll come back to that one. I think keeping Nick Martin on the team as kind of our 6th offensive lineman is a good call. His ratings aren't outstanding. Most of them, though, are at least decent. So if he had to fill in, I think you could do a lot worse at the position. So we'll increase this to 2 years, $7 million. And that deal's done. I'll give this offer to Brian Anger. The punting seems to have been alright so far. Charles Omenihu. I think that we can definitely keep him around as depth, but I want to continue adding young players to push that position forward. And that deal's done. Lonnie Johnson. I want to see what we can do in free agency here. Strong safety is a spot I'm looking to possibly make a change. And maybe adding somebody that can really boost our run defense. Lonnie Johnson Jr. has 63 tackle, 72 pursuit, 70 hit power. I think that he would fit better at free safety, but we have Justin Reed, so I want to find somebody who fits what I'm looking for a bit better. We'll let Zach Ertz test free agency, Kelechi Osemele. I think we'll let him test as well, see if maybe there is a mid-80s starter out there we can look to sign potentially. And Kendrick Bourne, that's the tough one, because I expected this to just be 1 year and then move on, but then he went for 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, and was very reliable. I think I'm going to make this offer. We'll still be left with plenty of cap space. There are moves I can make to potentially create some, so I'd like to make this deal for Kendrick Bourne, but he does not want to sign it. And we're not franchise tagging him at $21.8 million, so we'll come back to him in free agency. We should have plenty of cap space to spend now. If I need to make more, there's the potential of trading Brandon Cooks, making a move with Zach Cunningham. Let's take a look at that, by the way. The most savings we could get, not cutting Watson or Tunsil, but Cooks. Oh yeah, Titus Howard in this contract. I actually forgot I was going to be releasing him here and trying to re-sign him. So we're going to do that before that salary becomes guaranteed, which I don't think it actually does in Madden, but whatever. So now we got plenty of cap space. What can we do with it? Trent Williams is available. Kareem Hunt, JJ Watt coming back. David DeCastro. All right, we got a couple interior linemen here with high ratings. I like this. And Kendrick Bourne is getting interest as well. Now, wide receiver is something we're going to talk about a lot when it comes to the draft. And it'll probably have to wait until then. I don't think we're making a lot of moves here at receiver. It's all about, do we bring back Kendrick Bourne or look for a different slot receiver? I wonder what I can do here with a larger 2-year deal. I'm not really into a 3-year deal in this situation, but 2, I would put together a pretty good offer, I think. $18.9 million. That gives us an edge over New York and Detroit. I would have interest in bringing back Zach Ertz. I thought that worked out pretty well for us this season. But at the same time, I want to see our young tight ends develop. That's always a tricky spot as well. It's hard to develop tight ends in these games. But we have Norwood and Paulson here. And Norwood's a scheme fit at 25 years old. He's got to get chances now if he's going to get better. Let's talk about safety here. I wanted to add somebody who could boost our ability to stop the run. CJ Gardner-Johnson does have really good cover skills, great speed, His tackling is alright though, his pursuit and hit power are solid. This leads to him being an 85 overall run support safety, so we could consider him. Terrell Edmonds, a little bit lower rated there, but the run stopping ratings are actually quite similar. Kari Willis, I think these ratings are pretty solid as well. Doesn't have as much range in coverage, but can stop the run. There's a lot of potential moves that we can make here after taking a look at the roster. I think that obviously we want to probably wait till the draft to address that #1 receiver spot, and we probably will. But guard is an option, tackle is an option. We can get creative there. Maybe sign a center, move Randy Wallace temporarily. I think a second running back makes some sense, backup quarterback as well. And defensively, maybe a pure run stopper here at defensive end, while Borden and Carr are more focused on pass rushing. Then we have to add an edge rusher. We have to add a safety. Corner doesn't have to be addressed. We still have Charvarius Ward. But what can we make happen now? So I don't really want to go with 2 long-term deals at safety. I think eventually that can lead to the cap being a bit of a problem when you invest too much at the same position that isn't as valuable as others. For instance, we have 2 high-paid inside linebackers and a high-paid safety. That doesn't happen very often, and when it does, you're taking away from other spots like pass rusher and the more important roles. There's a reason why off-ball linebacker and safety, the top players of those positions tend to be paid lower than the top pass rushers and top corners. For instance, right now in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey is the top paid corner on a per year basis, making $20 million, compared to the top linebacker, Bobby Wagner, making $18. The top safety, meanwhile, would be Budda Baker, making $14.7 million a year. So I always keep that kind of stuff in mind, and I think I'd like to maybe look at signing either Edmonds or Willis. Edmonds has the best combination of speed and tackling, and I would like to just make a 1-year offer because safety could also end up being something I look at in the draft, and I could be wrong about this making the impact I think it can for making our run defense better. So 1 year makes sense to me. It's a decent offer. Now this next idea I have I'm excited about. At running back, I think this is a good chance for us to add somebody that can help us get out of 32nd in rushing next season, and I'd like to add somebody with a bit of burst that I think has some real starting potential. I'd love to see him get a chance. Who do you think it is? If you watched this past season, you probably saw Tony Pollard put together the most explosive runs out of that Dallas backfield, and I'd love to see him get more of a role in the future, and I'd like to see him get one on our offense now. 94 speed with 82 break tackle, 90 juke, 85 change of direction. I'm a Tony Pollard fan. I would like to make a deal here, and I think 2 years makes sense. Let's go to $9.3 million. At tight end, I'm leaning towards just not playing a veteran here and letting our young players develop, especially if we can add a receiver, keep Brandon Cooks, then we're not relying so much on young players. Want to find that balance this year so we can go back to the postseason. Now, do we try to bring in Trent Williams? I think you have to at least attempt if you have cap space like us. We'll see about Titus Howard, but this is just too good of a chance to pass up, I think. So this is the basic offer, and we'd have to go over 15. Now compare that to maybe signing Rodney Hudson and making a move at guard. Rodney Hudson maybe for $10 million? Say we boost that a little bit, try to get him to accept after the first stage. That might make a little more sense. Leaves us with $34 million if everybody we negotiate with signs. If we made that move, we'd probably try to bring back Titus Howard then. So what about a pass rusher? Do we try to bring back J.J. Watt? 1 year, $17 million? That would get us in first place, actually. it wouldn't leave us with a ton of room, and we're still looking at edge rusher being a need. So Shaq Lawson could be somebody we look to sign. Aquara, Rashawn Gary. So if we'd like to have a backup quarterback that could continue developing and be somebody who could fill in if Watson were to get hurt, here's Caleb Baker, who had 1 year of experience, must have been undrafted, and he ended up coming back to free agency and has some solid ratings and star development. Now, signing backup quarterbacks isn't the easiest thing to pull off here, and you're not signing them for a couple $1,000,000 a year. And the better backup quarterbacks in the NFL, they'll make like $6 to $8 million a season. Let me check some actual examples here. So, we all know Ryan Fitzpatrick, everybody's favorite backup quarterback. He makes $5.5 million a season. Andy Dalton went to Dallas. He's making $3 million, but I think that's partially because he wasn't playing that well in Cincinnati for a while. He might get more on another deal someday. Taysom Hill gets 10.5, but he gets a lot of red zone carries and whatnot, so he gets chances to score quite a bit. Caleb Baker, could we make a nice 3-year deal happen here? I totally missed that Montez Sweat was available here, and I would love to add him. He's 26 with star dev, and he's higher rated than Romeo Aquara. This could actually be a big move for us to make. I saw his name when I first saw the list, but for some reason I forgot about him for a moment. I'd love to put in the top offer here. There we go, 98 points. Let's go a little bit more. Get closer to $40 million on this contract. 39 over 3 years. 13 mil a season. Can that get it done? That may be all I try to do in this stage. Some will fail, some will succeed, hopefully, but that's a lot. And I'll have to make adjustments based on anything that fails. So, 6 offers. How many will get accepted after stage number 1? Come on, let's have some good news here. We have been rejected by Kendrick Bourne. I put in a very fair 2-year deal worth almost $10 million a season. Accepted by Tony Pollard and Montez Sweat though. So we lose Kendrick Bourne. That's unfortunate. But Tony Pollard should help out the backfield. Montez Sweat, we got to get back to putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks and stepping this defense up. And I think that's a really big signing for us. Let's move him to left outside linebacker in our scheme. I'm excited to see him here. Now it's Sweat and Ridley. That's the balance here. The great veteran and then a young pass rusher developing. Before it was kind of an average pass rusher in Aquara with a young pass rusher on the other side. So now we can look to maybe add a run stopper here at end. Somebody who specializes in that. We're still looking at safety. And on offense now, Tony Pollard, welcome to Houston. Bradham is still going to be the starter. Of course, it can change based on if Pollard is way more productive, but I like this combination a ton. And in general, I'd say that it's probably a good idea if you're doing something like this to take your rookie running back. You know you want to. I do it all the time. But also have a backup that's like Latavius Murray, Tony Pollard, just somebody who is solid, high 70s, low 80s, and can give you some stability. So we didn't get everything accepted or declined there. Now the battle here for Rodney Hudson's getting tougher. Edmonds just did not accept, so we'll raise this up to $6 million then. See if that gets it done. And we all know Rodney Hudson from the Broncos series, of course. I tried to get him in free agency, and that failing had just a domino effect of issues for our team going forward. I like to get Hudson on the team this time. I have raised the offer to 12.2. We're back in first place. At the same time, now I have to think about tackle if we're targeting him. and now all of a sudden a lot of teams want Titus Howard. I think this is a much more reasonable contract, and I would be cool with this. 2 years, 10.7. Okay, this is going to take a little bit more than, maybe closer to 6 or 7 a year. He has star dev too, and I think the CPU takes that into account. Plus he's 27, so he will get a little bit better. But these teams really want Titus Howard. Because we have the cap space, I'm willing to keep boosting the offer and not go for someone like DJ Fluker or Morgan Moses instead. Boost the offer here for Caleb Baker. That's now 74 points. It turned green. That has to be good. If that doesn't work, though, I wouldn't be against Jarrett Stidham because he is a scheme fit. But I don't like him as much as Baker. By the way, Trent Williams going back to Washington here. That's a $16 million contract it went up to. JJ Watt gets 14 to go to Buffalo. We may have been able to make that work, but it would take up pretty much all the remaining cap space, and I'm not sure what more I have to do. I haven't given all my offers yet. To Castro, to the Lions, that's a pretty good contract. CJ Gardner-Johnson, 5-year deal to the Minnesota Vikings. Rashawn Gary going to Baltimore. Bourne ended up taking the 3-year deal, which is weird because I offered him 2 years at like $20 million, which is very high compared to 23 over 3. So I'm shocked I lost that. And now slot receiver becomes a need, unfortunately. Bourne's old teammate Richie James could be an option here. His route running are all high 70s. James Washington, a better deep threat, 83 deep route running. Not exactly what I'm looking for here. Scotty Miller does have high deep route running as well, but I need that short and medium. And I guess that's where Traquan Smith could end up being the best option for us. Very balanced route running here, good catching. I think that the skills are very similar to Bourne. Dante Pettis, not as good. So I may give an offer to Traquan Smith. I first want to go back to the defensive side of things here and try to find a run stopper. Let's see if we can find somebody that can just give us high strength, high block shed. Pass rush is not the most necessary thing. Jonathan Hankins sets the bar at 90 strength, 76 block shed. Who can top that? Andrew Billings, 93 strength and 74 block shed. I'm not sure how to compare those two, but the awareness is much higher for Hankins, so he wins for now. Linval Joseph. Keeping in mind I am a Vikings fan and he had some very good years in Minnesota. 98 strength. 84 awareness, 73 block shed. Alright, Christian Wilkins though at 27 years old, 87 strength, 79 block shed. Which rating to prioritize there? That is a tough one. I'm not exactly sure. I say we make an offer here to Linval Joseph. See if that can be a solution for us. High awareness, high play rec, high strength, with block shed that compares to everybody else who's available. He just has unmatched strength. So let's give him a shot. $5 million a year is the baseline offer. And I think at receiver, I do want to make a 1-year deal here with Traquan Smith if possible. I might lower his offers and Linval's a little bit so we have a bit more room for UDFAs and everything. Apparently I can't go too far down though, or the points go to 53. We'll try 59, but I don't know if I like the odds of that one working. 82 for Linval now, that's pretty reasonable. Leaves us with 8 million in space. Before we sim, of course, we'll check out the scouting. Now, we pick number 12, and I am still thinking we're ending up at wide receiver in the first round. Here are all the options. All combine grades over 7 as well. So Evan Holiday, late first talent, early first projected, 6'5", 437 40. I mean, gonna be hard to top him. Kendall Whiteside, also late first round, a 4.49. Not quite as explosive, but still very impressive. Will Crowder ran 4.42 and has the early first round talent, so he should possibly be first off the board. Kyrie Fulcher ran 4.42, so we're looking like we're going to find somebody with size and speed regardless if a few get taken early on. Amari Jones ran 4.42. Speed is not going to be what separates these prospects most likely. Although you got Shaq Boyle here, 4.34, early first talent. That is at 5'10". So I am looking for a bit more size at the position. Greg Russell, 5'11", runs a 4.5. He's probably going to come in last here in this tier. Gilbert Russell, 6'3", ran 4.49. So pretty much everybody runs a 4.4. They're all going to have pretty solid speed. So with that being said, you have a few players who do have 2 A- in their top 3, 4 of them. So I don't know how to separate all these receivers. I like Amari Jones a lot at mid 1 talent. A couple of these other receivers have late 1 talent, so you'd be getting a little bit of an overall boost. Will Crowder does have early first talent though, so despite the top 3 not being quite as impressive, he might be the best. Fulcher late 1, Jones is mid 1, and Russell was late 1. So Crowder, the only early first in this tier with the size. Of course, Boyle, early 1 at 5'10". One thing to keep in mind with this class is it's extremely good at running back. At least 4 first round talents. Actually, it's 6. The ultimate running back class, and I signed Tony Pollard because I think that's the best move. That doesn't mean I won't draft a running back though, with how many good options there are. Maybe somebody like Darren Lehman from Akron, although 4.56 is a little on the slow side of things here at running back. What about somebody like Eddie Moats, who ran 4.48 at 226 pounds? Maybe I need somebody a bit younger here if they're going to be a 3rd string running back. Alright, we'll sim now and see if we have any more contracts accepted. On to stage 3. And the Houston Texans have gotten Linval Joseph under contract, and we are rejected by both Titus Howard and Rodney Hudson. Once again, I can't bring Hudson to one of my teams. Baker accepts the deal as backup quarterback. So we still have not upgraded the offensive line despite my attempts. We still need a guard, we still need a tackle. We still need to see if we can get Terrell Edmonds as well. So this is like our last chance at safety. I'll go up even more here to try to get this done. I'll go to 6.5 or 6.6 now that we've been rejected so many times and have the space. Titus Howard is gone. What did he take, by the way? 11.8 over 2. I made a similar offer that I think was worth more. Sometimes they just decline the deal. They don't want to go to your team or whatever. So, Morgan Moses. I think we have to make a deal with him. Now, he would be an upgrade over Titus Howard in the short term, so that is the positive here in this situation, being rejected. Let's go over $7 million and just try to get this done. At guard, Kelechi Osemele is still there. Roger Saffold as well. And Saffold, pretty solid ratings across the board. And Osemele, pretty solid across the board as well. I think I'll go with Saffold. His strength is lower, but the run blocking ratings are better. And I want to see if maybe him being a scheme fit is a benefit to our O-line play as well. Can't hurt. Alright, we're moving on from that stage now, and we do get contracts accepted by Terrell Edmonds, Morgan Moses, and Roger Saffold, as well as Traquan Smith. That's a lot of free agent moves that we made today, and shockingly, I haven't had to open up a lot of salary. I thought we would have to make a move with Brandon Cooks, but it looks like he'll play out the entirety of that contract, and he will not be traded by us, unless something happens here before the trade deadline this season. So, the O-line didn't get better like I hoped it could. When I saw that DeCastro was available, when I saw that there was Rodney Hudson, I thought we'd make something happen. And we did get a little bit better. 72 to 74, 76 to 77. Not the jump I was thinking. Traquan Smith, we'll see how he replaces the play we got from Kendrick Bourne. And I never looked at Quincy Etienne again. I might if he's still available. And then defense. We're going to move Linval Joseph to right end. And I'm hoping that helps out our run defense, obviously. And I'm still looking to see if there's anybody in the draft that can handle just the pure run-stopping role. High block shed, high strength, that would be ideal. Do you think that adding Sweat, Edmonds, and Linval Joseph helps our run defense at all this year? I hope so. Okay, everybody, we are on to the NFL draft now after a busy free agent period. A lot of moves have been made, but we did not target wide receiver. Not the big physical receiver that we've been looking for this entire series. We have a very good chance of making this roster strong before the season begins. Why is our coach invisible? The phone is just floating around the office. Alright, let's draft. The Minnesota Vikings select number 1 overall. And the big question is, how fast do these receivers go? Some are going to make it to 12, but how many? Well, the Vikings go Cam Cobb, 80 overall out of LSU. What a pick by Minnesota. Great job, Vikings. Kerry Mann going to Miami. No receivers the first 2 picks. And then Will Crowder. I called him the number 1. He's the first off the board. Evan Holiday now. 2 receivers taken. Kyrie Fulcher. 3 receivers taken. Don't tell me I gotta move up with like 8 first-round options. Markel White to the Broncos. Nolan Singh to the Titans. Justin Johnson to San Francisco. Washington goes Peter Poole. The Bengals go Eddie Hickman. And the Saints take Keenan Covington. And we are on the clock. There isn't a lot of drama here. It is going to be a wide receiver. We've known that for a while. The question now is who? There are 3 players here that we're really considering because we want the big-bodied receiver. So, Kendall Whiteside, Amari Jones, and Gilbert Russell. Let's start with Kendall Whiteside. He ran a 4.49. He's 23 years old. Combine is pretty solid. Spec catch. Catching traffic. So I think you're looking at somebody who compares to like when Alshon Jeffrey was coming out of South Carolina. Could catch everything. The tough stuff looked easy. Didn't have the best speed, but he certainly wasn't slow. I think Whiteside's like him. Amari Jones, 6'4", 225. He runs 4.42. Impressive vert. Bench press. 3 cones a bit low. I think I've already compared his combine to like DK Metcalf. And Amari Jones, I think, fits what I'm looking for. 6'4", 22 years old, great hands. Similar top 3, same skills are involved. Gilbert Russell gives you short route running, though, in his top 3. 4.49, spec catch, and catching. And Shaq Boyle, remember, Very good deep route running, excellent deep threat. If we were trying to replace Brandon Cooks right now, he would be the guy. But that is not the role that I think is important to target right now. So, in another year, Boyle might be my top option, especially with early first talent, and part of this is how do you pass on a guy with higher talent? Those early round 1 guys can have high dev, but in Madden 21, especially with how little those high devs are given out, it's hard to rely on that like you could in past games. So do we take the mid 1 talent in Amari Jones over Shaq Boyle? It's our chance to finally take that dominant big-bodied receiver. I don't know how we pass. Boyle is the fastest, the youngest, and the highest rated out of who is available. So this is really, really difficult right now. A- deep route running as well. We might only have Cooks for 1 more year. So it's not like Cooks is going to be here forever. Boyle would still have a chance to step in, but we'd still be waiting on that big-bodied receiver. If we wanted to add that later, there's Jared Murray, who ran a 4.61. What about John McMillan? 4.47, late 2 talent, not bad. That requires you to take receiver early twice. This is really difficult. And my pick is Amari Jones. 74 overall, normal dev, 12 in true talent, drafted at 12. We will see if that was the right move. We'll check on Boyle. But I love Amari Jones. Hands, 81 release on day 1, great speed as well. The route running will take a little time, but that's really all we have to work on with him. I'm really excited to see what this can do for our passing game, having a receiver like Amari Jones. I know we have Denzel Mims, so I think if you consider us continuing to build around Mims as the big-bodied receiver and then drafting Boyle, that would have made some sense. But this is what I've been trying to do, and I just wanted to take Jones in that spot. So we'll see. Boyle, he's going to have hidden development, I bet. He's going to be a superstar, and we'll see how long he remains available. I'm surprised that receivers aren't going even faster, but he's going to Buffalo now. Wow. I can't wait to see his ratings. Kendall Whiteside going to Tampa. Greg Russell off the board. I don't know if there are any more wide receivers that are first round talents who are available. I think they've all been drafted, and they have. Alright, on to the second round now. We do pick 12th in this round as well. After taking receiver and making our moves in free agency, I don't feel there's anything I have to do. So we can take a look at best players available in most cases. Here's our roster once again. O-line, we can start these 5 and go. Receiver, we're set. Running back, we're set. Can we add more depth defensively, maybe? We could look at somebody at safety to challenge Edmonds, or a corner, or even a defensive lineman that we've already addressed early multiple times in this young series. So, on to the second round now. If you want first round talent, Jeremiah Brown, Ramon Towns. Could take a running back here, and it wouldn't be the worst option. Ramon Towns is the top-rated player on the board right now, and having him as a third running back would be pretty interesting. Our backfield would get a lot deeper, and I'm kind of interested in maybe taking a running back now. We pick early third round. I have no clue what I'm doing with all these picks, by the way, because so many positions have nobody available. This is my draft board. No tackles. 1 center, 1 lineman, no defensive lineman. All the ones I like were already taken. I have no clue what to do with 8 more picks in this draft. I think here, though, because there are so many running backs available, we can take a look at going corner now. And there's a first round talent available, along with an early second. So late 1 versus early 2. I don't think you have to take the first round player in that spot. Kendall Murray, 23 years old, 4.45 40, B- press coverage. Jeremiah Brown, good hands, awareness, play rec. Ran 4.55, but he's 6'3". I think I want to go with Jeremiah Brown. The intangibles being so high in the top 3 with first round talent at 6'3". Even though he ran 4.55, I can't pass. 72 overall, Jeremiah Brown with 90 speed. I'm sweating 4.55 and he has a 90 speed. I'll never have to think about that rating with him. It's fine. 74 catching, 70 awareness. That's really solid off the bat. Ramon Towns has been selected by Carolina. So running back is probably going to be a target here with our next pick, as a lot of running backs are now being taken. Because I had like 6 options, I wanted to wait. There's Kendall Murray at 70. You can't tell me they're all going to be gone, though. It's not even a full round wait. It was like 20 picks. Please leave a running back for me to draft. What do we got? First round talent still. 2 of them. That's unbelievable. Trayvon Moore, Clay Hamilton. They are both 229 pounds or more. Very good combine grades. Moore is only 21 years old. A+ carrying too. 4.45 40-yard dash. Clay Hamilton ran 4.53, has A carrying, A- vision. I think here we have to go with Moore. Faster, higher talent grade, A+ carrying at 21 years old. He's our 3rd selection. He also has normal development. 16th in true talent with 89 speed. So here is your direct backup then to Jeremiah Bradham's role. Not the best route runner, but 72 catching is not bad. 83 change of direction, 86 trucking. Running back is getting a lot deeper. We will not be last place this year. I still have no idea though what I'm doing with the rest of our picks. I scouted some undrafted players that I liked that'll be solid values, but I limit myself to 1 trade out a year, and I might just be guessing with some of these other picks. 6 picks to make, 15 players on the draft board. So right now, best player available. We have a few second round talents. Running back is not a target now. Still not going to count out a second receiver, and actually another deep threat here would make some sense because we do have to prepare for what happens after Brandon Cooks. So Craig Red makes some sense. I don't think Quincy Etienne's coming back. I think that with Mims, now drafting Jones, Traquan Smith in the slot, I just don't think that's going to work out anymore. There's also Lonnie Hayes here, who is a zone safety. Pretty good hit power in pursuit. Right now, though, I want to take Craig Red. 4.31 speed, fastest in the class. So perhaps I end up with a great physical receiver and a great deep threat. Normal dev, 60 in true talent, 69 deep threat, 95 speed. All right, we have a player with a lot of ability here to work with. Maybe he does some kick returns this year as well. I talked about wanting to get somebody who could do that. You know, I mentioned, what am I going to do with all these picks? Well, trading up 3 picks for 1 does make sense here when you're worried about your board losing players. Should have thought of that before the 5th round. Still have 9 players here, though. Now I'd like to address the backup safety spot. 2 4-round talents. Courtney Winters and Randall Childs. 4.49 here. 6'4". Pursuit and hit power. 6 foot, good zone, 4.53. I'm not finding as many run-stopping safeties in these classes. Childs at 6'4" with that kind of speed. I will not be passing on him. Randall Childs is a 66 overall safety. He has 90 speed, 71 coverage, and he will be the backup to Justin Reed, moving to free safety because his tackling skills are not very good. That's okay. I wouldn't mind making a move here with Tampa to move up, and we give up a 6th round pick just to ensure that we can draft a new backup offensive lineman. I'd like to take Ben Williamson here. He has 5th round talent. I wasn't quite sure when he would go, but we're in the 5th round, and he's an early 5 talent. So high bench reps, high lead block. Ben Williamson is a 66 overall. This is a good value pick for us. 90 strength off the bat as well. When it comes to low-rated offensive linemen, I think he has some real potential looking ahead. That strength gives him a good start. So now we're looking at 2 picks to make, and all receivers on my board. I've addressed that now 3 times in the offseason. I will not be drafting another receiver. So this is where I'll use my 1 yearly trade out for the future, and then we'll just try to make something happen with that 7th round pick. I want 2024 5. I can get a 4. And I think I'll have to take that. So do we think San Francisco will be worse? My tiebreaker here, what I'm not sure, is whoever has more cap space. I'm just assuming they're not as good with less good players to pay. Not always true, but that's how I'm breaking the tie in real time. They go Malik Greer. And our last pick here in the 7th round. What to do now? I've drafted 3 skill players, an offensive lineman, and 2 secondary players. I haven't drafted anybody in the front 7. That's where we're spending this pick. I want to try to find a run stopper. Mike Penn was scouted with undrafted talent. I need high bench reps. At the very least, high bench reps. 7th is okay. We're going to select Elijah Phillips, 5th in bench reps, running a 4.8, 288 pounds. He is our last pick, 65 overall. I will take that. 62 run stopper, 84 strength, 65 block shed. So he kind of makes that D-line a little bit deeper. He replaces, who was our backup defensive tackle again? Brandon Dunn. There we go. All right, everybody, that is the draft. That is the offseason. What did you think of that? Did I take the right receiver? There were 3 options. Trade up for someone in particular, and then it was, do we take Amari Jones or the speedy deep threat? I forget his name right now. But I ended up going with Amari Jones. I wasn't missing my chance to take a talented, big-bodied receiver with speed, and I can't wait to start developing him. Now, normal dev will make that a little bit harder. Anytime you can get better than normal is going to give you an edge. We didn't get anybody above normal in this entire draft class, despite getting some really solid players. The Buffalo Bills, meanwhile, took Shaquille Boyle, who is a higher-rated player. We knew he would be. He had early first talent. But it's all about the development, and his is also normal. And that was just a complete guess. I thought it would be potentially higher, but because it's so much less likely, I had to weigh that compared to Amari Jones. Whereas in Madden 20, I'd be thinking right away, okay, hidden dev for sure. In this game, it's no guarantee. Great player, great deep route running. Would have been a great replacement eventually for Brandon Cooks. But I like that we went with Amari Jones. I wanted that skill set. But there were so many good receivers. Will Crowder was the top take, and he has normal dev as well. I think that he was my number 1 overall in the class, but I wasn't moving up to 3. Evan Holiday, 6'5", 92 speed. He would have been a great option. Also normal dev for him. Somebody had to have had hidden, right? You can't have all these good receiver prospects and they all have normal dev. Or can you? Gilbert Russell, hidden dev, and he was my least favorite in that tier because he had less speed. But he may have the highest upside from an overall standpoint. Kendall Whiteside, hidden dev, okay. And he had the size as well. Would have been a good selection. Greg Russell, also a good potential slot receiver. Maybe he can do more than that too. But I enjoyed this draft. I thought it was a lot of fun. This offseason as a whole, I think, made us a lot better football team. I wish we could have gotten a little bit better along the offensive line, but we made moves at receiver I'm very excited about. We added Tony Pollard. I think our running game is going to be a lot better and potentially more explosive with Pollard out there. Like, with my auto subs working the way they did, now it's going to be Pollard checking in for some of those opportunities. That's going to be great. Defensively, hoping Montez Sweat makes a difference. I'm hoping Terrell Edmonds helps out our run defense. Same thing with adding Linval Joseph. I really hope that we can be better at running the football and stopping the run this year. And that might get us over the edge of 8-8. Quincy Etienne is still available. He's not a bad player at all. But I don't know now that he has a role on this team. What do you think? Should we bring back Etienne or not? Leave your thoughts down below in the comment section on what you think about this team and where we are heading into the newest year of the series. We'll kick off this brand new year here very shortly, and I can't wait to see how all of this works out for us. I'm excited about the moves we made today. So please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave your feedback below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a great day, everybody.